Hello.
Hello.
Still waiting, Mike.
Okay.
Thanks for doing that for me.
Oh, no problem. No problem. I should have realized I should have done it earlier.
Well, that way we can, you know, I think I got the shout out program in too, so we're good.
Yeah.
Keeping busy with the job right now.
Yeah, I'm keeping very busy with the job, but there's some good signs. So I think we might be in the worst of the conflict. It might actually be
That's good to hear.
Possible. Yeah, it's very tentative. It's just my hunch, but I think we might actually have a little bit of. It might not be as long drawn as we thought.
Well, that's good. It is.
This is a slim chance. I was completely like, this is going to, if there is not going to be news, I'm good, so to speak. I was kind of really devastated and so on. Now I'm starting to get some vibes that we might see some breakthrough in not too distant future. We'll see. Yeah, there's at least a glimmer of hope.
So, Bill, that's not true that there's no love for Rangers. I will discuss one that is actual published source that you may not know about. Yes, and I had a little help from my friends on that one. So, yeah, it's good. I had a little help from Jose Ortiz on that. So I'll give you an idea where that comes from. Nope, not Knights of the Gnarly. There are no Knights of the Gnarly. There are Rangers of the Gnarly.
Yeah.
And maybe a Knighthood, but they're really not.
That's interesting. That's something we can talk about.
Yeah, we can talk. We can definitely talk about that. That's a good point, though.
Some of the what constitute the knightly order or not. So
yes, that's true.
There's some organizations that are kind of on the verge, or almost, or a little bit, or kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Yeah,
you're dead on that.
Yeah.
You're dead on that.
And we can also
What's up, Rick?
talk about it making up your rules, so to speak.
Yes,
Like
I wonder who did something like that.
Exactly, some prominent DMs have done that.
Yeah, who did that when he was 12? I don't know. Oh my God, 12. Patrick! Good to see you, man. You almost got another hype train here. What am I doing? I missed my cue because I'm talking to Attitude here. What's up, Syndicate? You may have gotten your thing already, your package from, I shipped it Monday. So you may have gotten it today if it was a 2-day point. I don't remember, Jesse, if it is. So, should we get an early hype train or not? Alright, so it's probably coming tomorrow. I know I shipped it immediately on Monday. That was a heavy one book, man. So. Mike is MIA. Hopefully everything's okay.
Yeah.
Knights of Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Oh, Dwayne hit it up. Thanks, Dwayne. Yeah, we don't have a lot of people on either. It's early still. Except we're 11 minutes early. Doon. Let's hit this button. This will be our choo. There's the ever mysterious Tim. So let me see if I have the right shout out here, Tim. Hopefully it's that one. There it is. And for the first time, Tim will be using Fantasy Grounds for the maps Saturday morning. Yes. Oh, cool, man. Yes. Tim. That'll be fun. Only someone as whacked as you would have bad dreams about not even playing in it, DMing an adventure you're about to run. Do you understand how disturbed that is, dude? That's like out there, man. You're like out there like Pluto. What movie? You guys were out there like Pluto, man. How are you guys? Yeah, great, Patrick. Yeah, look what you got to look forward to Saturday. There you go. New animated emote. I'm going to start doing fun ones in the 5th slot there. D's nuts. Because Tom always brings the Deets and Watson D's nuts into the game. So there you go. Josh told me not to do it because it was slightly offensive, and I told him I don't care. Yeah, see, Bones laughed. Right? Exactly. That's awesome, isn't it? Yes, exactly. Look at that. Thank you. Thanks, Bones. What? Oh my gosh. Oh, we make it to level. Oh, we made it to level. There we go. No kidding. I think it's hysterical.
Wow.
Because Dietz and Watson, exactly. It is. Thank you, Bones. Thank you. And see, Josh Zartan doesn't have a sense of humor issue. Well, he has a warped sense of humor. He goes, well, what if someone young's watching? I say, it's not that. It's not. There's actually a Dietz and Watson snack called D's Nuts. It's actually like it's real. So. Thank you. I have a couple others. I'm going to rotate the 5th one because the top, like, yeah, Deets Nuts, exactly. Alright, maybe it might get caught in work.
Yeah, might be, yeah. Traffic, well, it's not that much
See, I entertain myself. It's good. So 4 of my 5 emotes were in my top 6 of use, right? The animateds, including on other channels outside of my channel, and one wasn't the astonished one. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna rotate. I kind of know what I'm doing a little bit, Anna, with marketing. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to create I'm going to have an emote that's, an anime one. I'm just going to rotate in these really silly, stupid ones and see what happens. And that's the first one. And look, it's a huge success off the bat.
Yeah, see, that's great.
So I have to keep that one through Tim because Tim's having bizarre dreams about his game already, which is really disturbing.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, DMing for it, so. All right, so we got there. Ooh, thanks, Deltawath. All right, we're missing Mike. So Mike, we don't know where Mike is. He hasn't said anything. And maybe he got stuck in work. It may just be Anna and me. Well, there's a lot of things I'm gonna be able to do. There's a lot of things I'm gonna be able to rotate in and out, right? So, I got some good ones coming. So just I see people will look forward to what's Jay's animated emote tonight. I mean, I think it's insane. Gotta think about this stuff. I have over 50 emotes.
Wow.
Counting all the cheer slots and everything. Yeah, I got over 50 emotes.
That's a cool advertising thing
Yeah.
for Twitch. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, everyone loves the others. I mean, I got hype, high, love, and raid. Right? Hype, high. Yeah, I got those. They're all kick butt, and then I got the goofy one. So, yep. So there we go. We have a Tim Crit emote. We have Tim's head. I mean, Tim, your head has always been in the top 10 ahead of emotes. Your head's always been there from day one. The Tim loves and good critical. So, all right. I don't see Mike, and I don't. Well, I thought I saw Mike on. Well, look, I have one slot. I'm not changing 4 of them, and I'm gonna. How do I get those things? You just gotta know where to find them, man. It's come live. I'm 4 minutes early. We'll just BS for a little bit. Whoops. See, I messed it here. Let me put Anna's head up here and put her in. We don't know where Mike is, so
we'll see.
Good. Yes. So, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? By the way, I guess you can hear me loud and clear there. So, thank you for the hype train. Let me start the giveaway up. We're doing some at least one. We'll do a great reprint tonight. Let me get this out here. Start it up. Boom. That should have started it. So hopefully everyone's well as we start a new week here. And let's just say thank you. Sunday night stream was a top 10 viewed stream of all time, believe it or not.
That was fantastic fun.
Yeah, it was great, and we're getting some great feedback from it and all. I mean, they're tough to follow up on.
Yeah,
they are. And tonight's what's up, Alex? Tonight's discussion, we did the third Legends lore ever on this channel. So we're gonna revisit Knighthoods of Greyhawk tonight, and maybe go into a little theoretical on what constitutes a knighthood or things like that. I don't like what they did in chat. If you can see, they like now tell everyone, oh, these are viewers and these are, oh man, this is annoying. They expanded the chat log. Now I got to scroll up and down. I'm sorry, I'm talking to myself. I'm babbling here like usual, but good to see everyone. And note, we'll probably have Blue Box coming in shortly. So we're a week out from Gary Con. So this time next week, note, we will not have a stream schedule at all. I don't think so for starting next week, because I just don't know if I'm going to be able to stream from there. Hey, Phoenixy, good to see you, man. But we're gonna try.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna try and figure out. Here comes Mike. I'm gonna try and figure out some things. Hey, Kefir. So just note some real quick. It's not even 8 o'clock yet, so I'm babbling a little bit here. So here's a couple announcements. So let me flip over to here real quick, and I'll throw these up for Gary Con and the discussion. Multiple things. So let me just talk about this for one quick second as Mike gets logged in here. Wrong event. Jeez, Jay, hit the wrong freaking thing. All right. So Sunday night, we're going to talk about open questions. We're going to have open questions pertaining to the con, to Gary Con, and also for general Greyhawk questions. And then we're going to have a Gary Con 14 preview. I'm going to invite some of you out there that are going to Gary Con to say what you plan on doing and what you expect, what fun things you're looking forward. We were babbling a little bit, Mike. You're early. Don't worry about it. So yeah, we're having a fun chatting here. So note that Anna will be at Josh's house Sunday night. So
yes. So we will see if we can. I test one on my laptop with Zoom. So at least that part works. So we'll see. Yeah.
Yes. So Mike, if you're around, please feel free to be available for hopping on just to talk about what your expectations are for Gary Con. And then so we have a Legends and Lore at Gary Con. I will try. We gotta figure out if this is going to work or not. So there's all sorts of. If you don't know, there's some issues at Gary Con. There's certain rooms that are not available yet. So we got kicked out of our room that we had our
Oh, okay.
seminar in, and we're in a conference room, a business conference room. So that means it's going to be thin and so it's just
We'll
going to be
see. Yeah.
so I'm going to attempt. It's at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern is when Legends of Lore, What's Going On in Gary Con is on for Gary Con. It's going to be the three of us, so we're going to have that there, and then the next day, and Anna just gave this to me. The Fantasy Mapping Show live at Gary Con is Friday, March 25th at 4 p.m. Central, 5 Eastern. And Kafir, if you're on, I just saw you, Cave Geek Art will be on with Anna and Alyssa and myself. Now, it's going to be in another crappy room because it got moved as well from that great room that we had because they're having problems with, I guess, refurbishing the rooms because they're not getting the right materials on time. So another, but we'll work through it. So I'm taking my gear there. I will record them at least. I'll have 2 cameras, 1 mic. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Yeah, we'll see how. But hopefully we'll have something to share with you. Put it on YouTube if we can't stream it. I'm gonna try it because I hear the internet's real bad. But I may just try and hotspot it through my phone stream. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Just note that's what the plan will be. So note. I'm looking forward to it. Very excited. So this week, Knighthoods.
Yeah.
How are you, Mike? Things good?
Yeah, I'm working on a new chair. I didn't get it finished.
Oh, okay. A chair.
You were caught up in IKEA with the Allen wrench and stuff or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've dropped that Allen wrench maybe 100 times. So I'm pretty mad right now.
Giveaway options. Greyhawk: The Adventure Begins. If you want a Greyhawk setting, the Ghost Tower of Inverness, Sword and Sorcery Book of Taverns, and this one, Temple, Tower, and Tomb, which is kind of cool. So, all right, and note that. Oh no, Patrick! Yeah, Patrick got you, Mike. Patrick never lets people resub in that 2-hour window.
Yeah.
Thanks, Patrick. And Jose, I see Jose on. Jose, thank you for that information. It's perfect that you sent me. So we wish you could go too. I know some of the community will be there, and I know a lot of them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to them in the next couple of days and see if they want to come on Gavin on Sunday night, just talk about their expectations, what they're excited about doing. I know Curtis is going to be there. I know both Phantom, Tom Lord's wife's going to be there. I know King Bashman's going to be there. Dave from Guild Superior, on all of us. So we're going to get some people on. So on that Sunday night, and maybe discuss it. Kafir, if you're around, I know you're going to be there. You want to hop on Sunday night and just chat for a little bit, you're more than welcome to come on too. And that's what we'll do. Well, yeah, I hope you go for sure next year. So that'd be really awesome. Cool. So that'll be 7 o'clock Eastern. And we will not have GaryCon raiding into us like they've done the last 3 weeks because they have the Gax pack and then they have a pre-recorded game of Stefan Picorni that night right after it. So we won't be seeing them. Adam, good to see you. And hopefully you love those crypt tables because they are really, really fun, aren't they? And that's good to see. There's Josh. All right, so everyone, spam it now, please, because Josh will go crazy. Spam it. Spam that new emote because he's like it's inappropriate. So I gotta push things. So if you have it, yes. So let's see if anyone does it. But Josh will not be happy. So but that's all right. So yes. D's. Come on, man. We're having fun. Bone says it's the best emote ever. Okay? So I take her at face value because she knows what she's talking. There we go. Oh, thank you, Adam. Oh my God. We already had a hype train, so yes. Yeah, it's funny. That's it. We got to have a little humor in this world with everything that's going on. And I'll be rotating it out. I said that. So there you go. Even though Jose's doing it. We need more. I'll work on more emotes. I got a whole bunch more coming. I'm having fun. All right, so tonight we did this one on the third ever Legends and Lore we had. And I don't even remember much about it. I think we were still finding our way back then. So,
Yep.
may the vampire Thromel curse me. Well, you never know. You never know now, Josh. But see, I volunteered to help Josh out with something for Gary Con, so he can't be mean to me. So there you go. There are some Knighthoods, but not like the beginning. Let's start at the beginning.
In the beginning.
Bing, 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 bing. All right.
Do you want to start at the beginning? What's the beginning?
The beginning, I think, is the 1980 glossography, right?
Okay. Publication.
And it's only, I didn't realize how short this glossography is. It's less than 30 pages. Well, if we go to the next to last page, I think I went by it. It's numbered wrong. Maybe not. They number these things all messed up.
Do they mention Knighthoods in them?
Yes, here we go. Okay. Yes. It's good. See, it's awesome. All right. Here is talking about titles of nobility, right? And knighthoods. And I think this is it. Like, where else can you find knighthoods? And you have the Knights of they call them the Knights of the Shield. They don't even call them Knights of the Holy Shielding at this point in here. Dun, 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 dun. See?
It's an interesting development.
Yeah, Knights of the Shield. You have the Knights of the Watch, which probably until the Living Greyhawk era was the least used out of all of them, right? And then you have the Order of the Heart, which the most detail is set with them, which only leads me to believe that. Only leads me to believe that.
Now you've poisoned the chat.
I'm sorry. Well, it leads me to believe that you have Gary had detail on this, and when he put this in here, so please feel free to sign up for the giveaways. Said exclamation
So
point.
the Knight Protectors aren't mentioned in that text.
Nope. Nowhere.
Oh, that's kind of interesting because they are the most central to the setting when it comes to theme-wise.
Let's take, but I don't think they actually are even. Let's go to Great Kingdom and take a look. How about that?
Yeah, see if they're mentioned there.
Makes me wonder now.
Yeah. Well, we have to realize that things weren't developed in the same order. They were important later, so to speak. So.
Yeah, it makes me wonder that the Knight Protectors aren't created by Gary.
Ah,
here we go.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
The hypothesis. Very.
I don't see anything at all in here.
Yeah.
All it says is noble contingents allow the Overking to field an army numbering 15,000 troops. I don't see anything at all about the knights in here at all. It's something we're going to need to look into. So
trying to find more stuff on them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not here. We want to check the 83. The 83 set on that.
That's what I'm getting at here.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So I didn't bring that one up. So
I have it both PDF and real. Orders of Knighthood.
Awesome.
Knights of the hang on a second here. Knight Protectors are in here, but they are listed.
They are.
So my theory
Yep.
now, my working theory here now is either Steve Winter or Alan Hammock then created the Knight Protectors.
That's great.
Because all this is an update of the folio.
Yeah.
So if there's any discrepancies between them in the text, wouldn't that just have been added by the editor, not by the original author?
Well,
because Gary is known for having his name slapped on stuff.
Yeah.
That's a good point. So is it with all the other knighthoods?
Yeah, it's actually not listed as its own. It's actually listed on top of the Orders of Knighthood. The order, Knights of the Shield, Knights of the Watch, and Order of the Heart. They have their own entries, and the Knight Protectors are mentioned in the foreword, in the first paragraph.
Yeah.
They are mentioned. They are not listed
So they're only a
yeah.
little blurb thought at this point.
They are a blurb in
Okay.
in
the 83.
This, for example, the Knight Protectors of the Great Kingdom are exceedingly formidable, while those of Medigia, that's interesting because that's one of the finds I did studying for this, are looked upon with near contempt. So they're not detailed, they're just mentioned. The other ones are detailed, they have whole paragraphs to them, and the Knight Protectors is only one paragraph or one sentence, that's it.
So Mike may be right, but I'm thinking someone said, how can we not have a knighthood in the largest kingdom?
Oh, we do.
Well, that's what that's just
Yeah.
a thought on mine. Is
Yeah.
is that that is, what's up, Casey? Casey, what's the date on your on the next Living Greyhawk one? I kind of lost it, so just let me know, please. We're planning because I'm going to be gone next week. That's just a thought on my part, but Mike, you probably are right that someone else said, "Hey, we got to have this in here," and decided first Wednesday in April. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So that's 2 weeks.
Probably gets
3 weeks
more
from today.
complicated too.
3 weeks.
Yeah, because in this one, the Knight Protectors got a whole section. So this is where they really came of age. So they're not mentioned in the folio, they're mentioned in the 83 box set, and they're coming. Now I'm going to check the From the Ashes and see if we get something there.
All right, cool. So Anna, what what'd you say? You're going to the From the Ashes?
Yeah, yeah, From the Ashes and see if there's.
Oh, okay.
If they are mentioned more there, so see.
I have From the Ashes in like, this is my From the Ashes books in tatters.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a nicer one downstairs, but let Anna look through that. So, oh, cool. Thank you, Kate. I lost track. I'm losing track of time.
That's right, Eric.
I just need to feed my little monster here first.
All right. As far as research goes, we have at this point, when we're looking at 83, we have Shield, Knights of Holy Shielding. They're called Knights of the Shield still, unless they say Holy Shielding in that in the 83 glossography. The Watch, the Heart, and the Protectorate. But the Protectorate, it sounds like it's broken up into other areas. It says that the Medigia had their own, which is interesting.
Yeah, they're still called Order of the Shield in the 83 box set.
They're still called, so they're not called Holy Shielding as of yet.
Yep.
So this is that's interesting information. So if you look at the Order of the Heart, it's broken into, and it actually has numbers in here too. In 80, 200 Knights of Furundi, 80 Knights of Valuna, and 24 Knights of the High Forest. So that really doesn't change over time, even through the wars or everything. It seems like that stays mostly the same. And by the way, Anna has Anna has a lot of heraldry too that will be scrolling through on the main screen there that I added in some stuff. So it says here, there is no love lost between them and the Watchers, the rulers of Perrinland, and certain of the Nyrundi's nobles. I don't know why Neron would even come into play here with the Knights of the Heart. It's right? That's weird. Considerable rivalry exists between the Order and that of the Shield. All right, well that makes sense. We know that from the Ashes. So, yeah. So
none of the Knighthoods get along with each other, except I assume
we have Dispatch too still.
Between the Hearts.
I got a whole bunch of Dispatch stuff from Jose. Yeah, so that's our starting point, and from there we can expand on these Knighthoods. So and we'll do our best for each. I didn't. You know what? I forgot to put I forgot to put the Ivid scroller through of the picture of the Ividian dying. So shall we take one? Thank you, Jose. That's awesome. Do you want to take one and start on one and bounce around a little bit?
Sure.
So why don't we the most developed one's the Heart, right? So why don't we go there? And I have a nice cool place to also go there. I'm going to link this. Tommy John Kelly has done some great work on this. So if we go to his Greyhawk stories, now I also have the Hateful Words linked, but below it is, if you want to link this yourself, is Tommy and John Kelly's discussion on, and of course you can't see it because I am on another page here. Here we go. All right. So he has his Knights of the Heart discussion. Mike, if you've done any of your posts, let me know if you have any on any of these Knighthoods, and we want to refer to yours as well. We can also
link to that.
We can also link to there. Demons fear them, fiends flee before them. Adventures with the noble order of Knights of the Heart for the defense of the free peoples of Valuna, Highfolk, and Friandi. Here's the story of the origin of those doughty defenders and heroes of the Marklands, the chivalrous and true-hearted Knights of the Heart. So he does a really great job, and he starting off this discussion. And like I said, I always love his works. It says, by necessity, the story also relates to the tale of Igwald's conquest of Pearlander, fall from power, and the rise of Ayus. No matter to which order a member belongs, all are sworn to defend the others in the lands of all three nations at a moment's notice, Valuna and the Highfolk. I don't know. So it says also, originally published on Cannon Fire in 2002. So, Rick, you may know about this. Kurt Wackford's Brief History of the Knights of the Heart has been freshly edited and revised by the author. So we have some good, really awesome stuff we can go back here. Is Fraz or Blue Greyhawk? I believe so. Absolutely. So J Rock, good question. So this is Greyhawk, one of the oldest settings, which is really not WotC supported anymore that much. Ghost of Saltmarsh is a Greyhawk setting all throughout there. But edition wise, all editions are welcome here. I play 1E, 2E. Most people play 5E. A lot of people play 3.5. A lot of people play Pathfinder, play Casuals and Crusades, all different sorts of editions here. So, yep. Franz is Knights of the Holy Shielding. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool, man. We'll stick around, say hello, and have fun here, and give us a follow and listen in. This is, like I said, this is going to be a really cool discussion here. All right, so let's go to the Knights of the Heart here. Here's a brief history. And this is from Kurt Wackford in Cannon Fire, rewritten. So this history doesn't really exist anywhere else in published sources.
No.
So, which is a great thing.
Remarkably.
Yeah. And this is why I like going beyond what we have, because we don't have that much. So if we could even go, like, let me jump a second. If we go to Living Greyhawk Gazetteer, there's some good information in here, right? But the Knights of the Heart is at most one page. It's one page. It's a couple columns. The Knights of Holy Shielding are one column. Knights of Luna, one column. And the Knights of the Watch, a column and a half. And that's, I mean, so really the Knighthoods are still not, and it's really a lot of rehash, right? There's some stuff added into all of them, but there's really not a ton of content. And that's why I like to look outside into these, into the fanon area of content here, to see who is really coming up with some neat ideas, and which is cool. And this is right from Cannon Fire. So it says here, well, after the Great Kingdom had reached its maximum extent and begun to wane, Stinvri, the hereditary viceroy of the Ferren, which is Furiandi, everyone, a tribe, declared its independence from the Malachite throne, wrested control from the Marklands. So you get that Greyhawk setting of the Marklands
Blue
here.
Box.
Blue Box! Everyone give Blue Box a hearty D's nuts, please. I'm gonna torture Josh all night long. So, thank you for the raid. Yes, there we go. Love. Thank you, John. And we're talking Knighthoods here, and we're jumping right into the Knights of the Heart. So, thank you all for the raid.
Just in time.
Yes, really cool. Really cool. Thank you all. And this is going to be a great discussion on all the published source Knighthoods. We're going to delve a little deeper into other sources to get some more information. Oh, look, Thromel and the Outer Territories. So there you go, Josh. You can turn him into a vampire right here in this discussion. So, so it appears that this is King Thromel the First. So,
do you have a link to this so we can post in?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Oh,
I'll read.
sorry.
I'm gonna do it again. Here, let me do it again. This is all right. So there's Tommy John Kelly's. The first one's Hateful Wars, because I use it so much, and the second one below is Knights of the Heart, and that's where we're going here.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep.
And then remember, this is all from Cannon Fire rewritten here. So, Rob, what's up, man? I need to. I think you're. Please resub before. Please do a resub before Patrick gifts you one, Rob. Please. if it's expired. This is published. This is Fanon from. Thanks, Rob. I did it anyway. Oh my gosh, Patrick! All right, I'm off. So the easternmost lands of the Shield, were largely controlled by remnants of the Aridian army commanders and military. Yes, thank you, Tino. Isn't that funny? Oh my gosh, Scott. Oh, I try to say Patrick Coyne. And they start talking about here who's laying claim to the Vespi Forest and some background, and in comes King Thromel, and this is where if we go through a lot of the discussion here, Backloonish and humanoids are invading. So there's no love for the Ketites. I'm assuming that's the closest invaders at this point. So Thromel gives the elves liberty first in this area, saying you're autonomous now and have at it for all the raiders coming in. And I think that's how a lot of this area starts, giving autonomy to areas actually helps with defense. Also, Verbabank was another location, a petition for independence as well. So when you get to the founding of and thank you all for the wonderful support tonight, everyone. As usual, we have such a great community here. No matter who's your favorite or whatever, wonderful streamers. Yep, we appreciate it. So the heirs of Thromel faced many of the same problems as their progenitor, and the Great Kingdom had withdrawn, but there's still threats of Backloonish. They know Backloonish multiple times here. Humanoids and northern nomads were constant. So the King of Furinity created the Order of the Heart early in the 4th century. The title of Knight of the Heart was bestowed in secret on select nobles who were deemed loyal to the king. So that's where it started, and we're talking about, what, 300, 350 CY?
It's around Zygig's time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, trust me, this is
So
talk shit
they're
tonight. Yeah.
selective on who gets in. And that's why the numbers are so low on their knighthoods.
To me, it seems like the Knight of the Heart is more like a symbol of the loyalty of the king and stuff, rather than a formidable military force in itself. It seems to me more like a status symbol and something you can show that you're loyal to the realm, so to speak, and you're made more than like the Knights of the Shield and the Knight Protectors seems to be, and the Knight of the Watch seems to be more military units with lots of members to actually be on the battlefield. But the Knight of the Heart seems to be more political symbol, kind of that part, so to speak, rather than a force on the battlefield.
Right, exactly, and so. Yeah, this is great. This is we don't have these backgrounds really published somewhere. Now I'm assuming, and I don't think Dale's on tonight. Maybe Rick knows, or Gary if he's on. Or Anna, you and Mike might know too. In Nivid the Undying, does it go over the formation of the Knights of the Protectorate in there?
Not much.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I think you can find more of it in the Death Knight and the Kargoth than.
Oh, really? Just on Kargoth's backgrounds. Okay.
Those stories detail it more from what I've found, rather than even the Undying. They're more like the disassemblement of the Great Kingdom and the decline of them, rather than the formation of them. But there are some cool stuff in here that I'm coming to that. So please go on.
Oh, no, that's awesome.
All right.
Good to hear.
Yep.
So, why are the Knights of the Heart broken into 3 branches?
That's a good question. Hopefully, it'll discuss that. Oh, there we go.
I think it's simply because the Pharaon was broken up into 3
I'm linking
pieces,
it, Rob.
politically, meaning you had Foriundi, Veluna, and Highfolk. Or I think it was simply they simply because the realm of the Pharaon was broken up into pieces. I think simply because of that. They each wanted a piece of the
Kai,
pie.
thank you. Kai, very kind of you. Thank you so very much.
So I read, interestingly, that all the knights of Highfolk are elven, or elven blooded.
Yeah.
and they're more concerned with matters of the Vesvi.
Yes and no.
Whereas Knights of Valuna are the more diplomatic type knights, morale, peace, and all that.
Yeah.
Then leaves Friandi for being your traditional, fighting knights, I suppose.
Yeah.
Here we are in the 3 branch. It's a good point. Here we are in the 3. The number of knights is limited. BB fan fun. So I have a Selenian knighthood, which is limited as well. And so I think elves think in those terms. I don't know why, but I just think maybe they do. Let's find out here what in this discussion. The King of Friandi created 2 branches of the order, one for Friandi and one among the high folk. At the same time, he advised the arch cleric on the creation of the 3rd branch to specifically serve Valuna. Verbelanc was too small and lacked the resources to hold its own branch. Its worthy heroes were asked to join either the Friandian or Valuna's branch. The Shieldlands, ever the most independent, eschewed the king's offer to have him organize and head their branch, and also this is great, and also refused to have their own heroes accepted into the Friandian branch. Instead, they founded their own local order of knighthood, that of Knights of the Shield. See, all right, so he uses the original term from the glossography, also known as Knights of the Holy Shielding, which is really cool. So, wow, that's really.
And it's cool. I love the fact that he ties them together with the West, like Faerun, because that's where I think Shieldland belongs more than because it was part of that original creation of the viceroyalty of Faerun in the West, so to speak. So that's where they have their origins. So I kind of really like that. Yeah.
So this is really a great some really nice points made here. Yep. Oh, trust me, Rock. Lots of combat, lots of death coming tomorrow night too. All right, so the Knights of the Shield were overtly a religious order dedicated to Erroneous in the sense they were the fruition of Thromel of the first plans for the region. The Valunese branch of Knights of Heart, and let's all admit that the Valuna is one of the least used places in all of Greyhawk, right, for the most part, because it's so stable. Was spiritual and temporal. In contrast, the Friandi branch was secular. Interesting. But are paladins secular? Or does that mean they just worship multiple deities?
Secular sounds that they should not worship any deities, but secular paladin sounds like a contradiction in terms.
It does, doesn't it?
The paladins take their orders from the Pope, and the secular takes their orders from the king.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then they're a secular paladin sounds like a knight to me, or like a fighter. But that's semantics. So that's up to how you have.
Alderaan says they can't be secular.
I agree.
It is
but I think you're talking about in command structure here. That's what I think the discussion is on.
That's exactly. It's not their nature. Yeah, it's like they don't take orders
in the
from the king
Shieldlands
rather than the church. Yeah,
they rule the Shieldlands.
Yeah,
those knights.
Yeah.
At least that's how I have it.
Friandi.
So lastly, it says that the High Forest branch was neither religious nor broadly secular. Originally, it did not even vow to defend the Elven lands the way the other branches served their respective nations. Rather, the High Forest branch served as an adjunct to the Friandi branch. A handful of elves more loyal than most to the King of Friandi. Interesting. There's no mention of the Vesvi defense there. That's an interesting point made. Yeah. 3 branches of the heart plus the Knights of the Shield then sorts grew and developed. Their foes faced, and the people who led their branches would shape their intertwined destinies. And we got some notations here. So he has notations here for some of these. As you can see, Guide to the World Greyhawk, Guide to the World Greyhawk. Most of them are there. But we also have From the Ashes here. All right, page 29 about the Keel, about Keeland, territorial ambitions. So there is some notations. Most of it is from the 83 glossography, or 80 depending. So so that's very, very neat and very nicely done. This rewrite from Tommy, from Kurt Wackford. So anyone out there, does anyone know Kurt? And
yeah, I used to.
Okay, you did. Okay, cool. Very cool. So let's see what.
I don't know if he's still around. But
let's talk. Let's see what it says about the High Forest branch here. As Kurt continues in this. So the High Forest Branch Order eventually chose 20 elves of diverse backgrounds, skills, and homelands. Many previously served elven nobility. The majority hailed from the Vest, but several came from Highfolk City or Highfolk Vale. One hailed from Verbabank, while one came from that portion of the Gnarly claimed by Furiandi. That's very interesting. So that's the area claimed by Furiandi that where Hamlet is and Nulb and Temple is, right? That little swath of area there. So what did this collection of fair folk share in common? They should be selected for this order. All were heroes of renown. More importantly, all were favorably disposed toward Furiandi. So it appears that early on, they were not. They supported the efforts of the king to make the Lord Marshal de Vespi his beholden subject. Less self-absorbed than their typical kin, they saw the need for coordinated action between nations to preserve the freedom and goodness of the Marklands. So there you go. And the king organized this branch not to serve his own people, but to serve his. And I think that's probably where that says Elven Knights made reconnaissance towards the lands north and east of the White Sill, checking on the nobles and noting where humanoids have recently settled. That's interesting. So, and then crisis change. So, over time, we have some changing here of the guard with this Furiandi and mostly feudal states and social systems based on primogeniture. All right, so it appears that they eventually changed what their point here. So, yep.
Probably because things got hairy with IUs.
Yeah, it looks that way, and it looks like a whole bunch of them got killed. And it says the final 5.
There wasn't that many to begin with.
Yeah, so it looks like they were all killed. Final 5s met privately with the king. They explained they remained as low subject, the branch was doomed in its current form. So there you go. So that's when the change was made, and we're looking at what year is this? Probably a late 390s, 395 to 460. We're talking here. Okay. So this is only 100 and depending on your play time, 120 years before of a play start here. Yes, Hail Ea's there, Casey. So, yep. So that's cool. They remained loyal to him, but they changed what they when the short war of Keeland came. Remember, Keeland and Furiandi fought a war.
That's why they don't like to watch.
Yeah. Yep. 8. So wow, I did not know this. 8 of the 12 branch members defended Verbabank when the city was under siege. I did not know Keeland laid siege to Verbabank. Does anyone else not know that?
That's a Kurt.
That is a Kurt. I don't think it's mentioned anywhere in published sources.
So but there was a short war. The short war is mentioned.
There was a short war between Furiandi and Keeland.
No details.
Yeah. So very cool. And it looks like
was there short war while Furiandi and Veluna for Verbabank was still the same one big country, or had they broken up?
They'd broken up. It looks like they annexed Bissell.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, they did. I remember that.
Okay.
From that, it's probably from the. I think that is written in published sources somewhere, because I know I read it somewhere before, but I'm not really sure where.
So it says here, the Elven Knights served as guides and scouts for the Furiandi forces deployed in Bissell. In these similar missions, the elves of the High Forest branch served for 60 years until the arrival of the Witch Queen and her demon-spawned son, and then it changed. So some really great background that until I had looked through this, never knew about the Knights of the Heart. Well, the Knights of the Heart were set to fight IUs, I always thought, right? That's not the case.
Yeah.
No, they were beyond before.
Yeah.
They came before IUs. Yeah. We have to realize IUs is not that old from a setting perspective.
Even though he's called the Old One.
Exactly. I think that's why he calls himself the Old One, both to raise his diplomatic status and his old empire, but also because it ties into Old Flan. That's in my campaign, Old Flan, meaning the horned ones, the old ones, and it's part of the old faith and stuff. It's part of his PR stunt.
So I'm linking both Discords. I'm linking Greyhawk. I'm linking Counterfire's Discord. I'm linking Greyhawk Online's. I'm sorry, Virtual Greyhawk's Discord. And if you want the Greyhawk Online's Discord, you just go to the Greyhawk Online website, and it's right there. Okay, so you can go in if you're interested in any more of these. I mean, this is from 2002 off Counterfire's site that Tommy John Kelly took and then ran with it with his own stories. So note that there's stuff there from 20 years ago, which is really cool. So,
yeah,
good start. Good start on
Mhm.
discussions there. Anna, Mike, comments on the Knights of the Heart.
Which shield is which?
We have that. We have that, and I will share.
Well,
I will share that.
they're kind of obvious because they follow the surrounding lands. Meaning the blue is the Furyundi,
Here we go.
the green is High Folk, and the black is Voluna.
Okay.
The question is that their colors? That's their colors of their nations too, right? For the most part. I mean, Voluna, right? A bit.
I think,
or no?
yeah, I think
Okay.
it's from the '83 box set in here. Yeah, it's from the colors come from here.
Okay. Awesome.
So they're kind of as canon as can be in Greyhawk terms.
Yeah. So note that, and I didn't put this out, and I have used extensively in my game the Knights of the High Forest. I think yeah. Give me 1 second here. It's only in a Word doc. Hopefully I won't crash the stream by bringing this up.
Mm.
All right. You can't see it.
No dots.
Yeah. I don't even know how to make it bigger. All right. So the Knights of the High Forest, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 9 of them. And notice they're all so here's the argument, and she's probably misplaced, but Sharna M, I think, is a Knight of Furyundi and not a knight. But I have her on this list because she's worked in adventures.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she's human. Serenal's the guy who is blind that drives me crazy. The Moonbode one, and then the rest of them are PCs or NPCs in my campaign. All right, so there you go. So we have a list there of a couple. And notice in my old school, Cavaliers, Fighters, Rangers, they're the 3 classes most of them are. So, yep, I've used them pretty extensively.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's the Knights of the Heart. Starting off with something that we have a lot of great detailed information on that starts in the 80 classography and runs through to here. And note that the last published source book has some good information on it as well if you want to start somewhere. And I'm assuming, I didn't look through it, but if we're giving this out, the Greyhawk, the Adventure Begins, it's got to have it in here too, right? Knighthoods, is it in here?
I don't think they're
Or
No.
Knighthoods
specifically
not
listed.
in here?
I don't think they're specifically listed. I'm sure they're mentioned several times.
Okay.
Here.
They're
not.
probably mentioned in the
They're probably not.
Player's Guide
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right.
by Anne Brown.
Yeah, they're probably
You know,
not
as a
specifically mentioned
playable
there.
Yeah.
kit.
But I found a new one that I don't think anyone had seen before.
You
Or that
knew what?
people probably
New
found it, but
Knighthood?
I found one that I haven't seen before.
All right.
And when I found the creation story of the Knight Protectors,
Oh,
and it is in the
It's an Nvidian die.
Living Greyhawk Gazetteer.
Oh, okay.
mhm.
There is the creation story of the Knight Protectors, and there is another Knighthood that
Well, that is
I
awesome.
read it 5 times and I missed it, but it's there.
Give me a second here.
Yep. But I can tell the story a little bit. It goes
please do.
back to -107 common year, and that was
What page?
it's 157. So that was there was an attack upon the king of Aerdi. This is before Great Kingdom. Remember that this is the kingdom of
we
Aerdi
go.
before that became the Great Kingdom, and the king was out traveling and foiled by a group of I guess woodsmen and farmers from a nearby village. Urflan insurgents released a winged horror upon the royal tent city in an effort to assassinate the leader of their conquerors. The young men of the village thwarted the attack and cost most of their lives. The king was so impressed with the courage of the survivors that he raised them up as his knight protectors.
Oh.
From this inception, the order was unique in the Great Kingdom in that it chose its own membership through contests of skill and courage. Positions were not royally appointed, nor could they be bought, like many other knighthoods in the kingdom.
Huh.
That is the creation story as far as the Living Greyhawk Gazetteer goes, and that's the only one I could find on how they were trained back in the day. And further down in the entry of the Knight Protectors, at the very last bit, there is this Overking Sevener that talks about the successors of the Knight Protectors after the Great Kingdom has fallen apart. And it says Overking Sevener has expressed no interest in them, but no animosity either. Grendel of North Kingdom might consider Hextorian order of knights, but not, and blah, 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 etc. Vel Astra has its own knights, the Iron Nation Cavalry of knights. Yeah, so Vel Astra has a knightly order of sorts, meaning the Iron Nation is their kind of, so that is kind of interesting. So if you want to, there is a support to develop it. And now we know what that beast is on the shield. It's that winged horror that Urflan conjured to kill the king of Erdi.
This shield.
Yes. That's the original shield, and that is from Sword and Fist, 3rd edition. They had a prestige class that was the Knight Protectors, and that design, shield design, comes from that. I took that design from that image. The colors are mine, but the design is I don't know who drew the illustration, but it's an illustration of a Knight Protector, and he had a shield that looked like that. So I took that design from there, tweaked it a bit, and put it on the shield. And I based the design and the colors a bit on Lord Robilar's, because
I love that.
Robilar is he's an Iridian from same time period, or like he wanted to, or later time period, so he might want to use a version of the same story to boost his colors. That's just my kind of interpretation, because we have the two shields that kind of look similar, so I kind of used the bit of the same colors. I'm not sure if the colors are right, because the original illustration is just black and white, so there's, yeah, we don't know the colors. So
this is in Anna's new heraldry. So this is the first appearance of this. So yeah, if you're in
there is
Patreon,
also
you can get
also something that I now need to give credit to Living Greyhawk. So I'm going to remedy this, because Living Greyhawk had a shield that was a black shield with the Erdi sun in the middle, a bit like the Rel Devon shield, but with the buttocks and arrows. And I was like, that one, yeah, and that one was, and that's my interpret. I just did an updated version of that one, and I thought that was a Living Greyhawk invention, and I just tried to make it a little bit better, that one. And then I dismissed it and said, now we need to do another design. So and then Brian Bloomclots did an awesome one, blue with a bunch of Erdi stars all over the place, and I like that shield. But here, the shield is mentioned in the text here. So the Living Greyhawk people knew what they were doing, because the Living Greyhawk Gazetteer has the shield mentioned.
Oh,
and it says, yes, the order's old heraldry, showing the great crowned son of Erdi guarded by a white axe and red arrows, is no longer used. So that means that now we can start building the story here. So we have that shield is no longer used, which means that then I think the Brian Bloomclots shield, blue with a bunch of Erdi stars, is kind of cool as the latest version. This is the middle one, and the oldest is the one from the Sword and Fist. And so now we have a series, and I'm working on creating good versions of all of them, so people who want to use them in their campaigns can use them for historic reasons, or if you find an old artifact or an illustration or something like that.
So they will be coming to everyone. Just
yes,
note that. Yeah.
Yep.
They will definitely be coming here.
Yep.
Which is a cool thing.
Yep. So it's so I'm going to make an updated version of this one as well, so we can fill up the whole thing. So we have like 3 different shields from the original one with the winged beast. And
how about Brian Bloomclotz's?
That one, I think that was the last one.
Right.
In my campaign, I want to have this is the final one that they used, so to speak. at the very last one after and I think one of the reasons they wanted to get rid of the black one with the air shield because it looked too much like the Reldevan shield,
Okay.
because that was from the Crandon era of the Great Kingdom, my guess, and the Evids didn't like it, but they also didn't want to advertise something to Hextorians, so they took one that just kind of made it into a generic design based on the air shield, no political affiliations, because the blue shield of the Great Kingdom was in its heyday, so to speak. So that's just my speculation of what this is, so to speak.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So I have these also, and there's multiple ones. The Alyssa and Knights of Doom. These are the Fiend Knights.
Yeah, those I did them for my Reldevan campaign
Okay.
back in the day. So that's my Reldevan design, and I just wanted to and there is Savener concoction after the fall of the Great Kingdom. He wanted something that just was terrorizing a bit and stuff. So they're basic. So he used his personal principality seal in the middle, and then there's also one Nestria one where you just see the big skull and Erdi stars in the eyes of the skull, so to speak. And so they were just there too. I wanted to that was early days in my heraldry. I probably have to redesign them a little, but we'll see. But those were part of Knights of Doom. That is a United Kingdom of Alyssa thing, I think. Yeah.
Okay, but you're gonna have 3 shields. We're gonna have this in new. We're gonna have this in new.
Yep.
And we already have the original.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
I'm going to make new versions of the other 2. Yeah. As well.
So there you go. Yeah, Fiend Knights were in Dragon Magazine 206, and they're really cool. They're a little different than Death Knights, which is good.
Yeah.
So get a little bit different there.
They all wear golden armor.
Yeah. So true. So, Mike, anything on the Knights Protectorate? I know, we've done a couple Great Kingdom discussions. Yeah.
I read somewhere that they headquartered, or before they were eradicated, practically, they headquartered at Morshalden Castle,
which is where?
Which I thought, I don't know, Great Kingdom. It's somewhere on the map, but it just got me thinking that. And Knights of the Heart have Castle Heart as a centralized meeting place, apparently. But it got me thinking of like Arthurian legends, going to Camelot and having a meeting of the knights. So you got this one castle, maybe they all converge on.
Present day, if you're playing 576, 591, whatever, where is the Knight Protectors in general?
Well, they are, I guess, since they're not out fighting on the frontiers that much, I think they're mostly in the central part of the Great Kingdom, that to maintain internal order and stuff like that. And I also think they seem to be greatly weakened because there's strife between Hextorians and Heronius, and I think it seems to be at the end they were the Hextorians who took over in the Great Kingdom, and the Heronian ones were the ones that formed in the western part of what in Neron, and so when Neron and Furiundi and when they kind of took off and broke off, then it was the Hextorians who took over in the rest of the kingdom, so to speak, or the heartlands of Great Kingdom. But that's my idea. Yeah.
So the last line of this says, perhaps the Knight Protectors will rise again in Ratic or Alyssa. That's what it says here.
Exactly. That's
yeah.
We got this King Richard in hiding vibe.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, but it's kind of interesting because I see that the Order of the Heart and the Order of the Shield are both spiritual successors of the Knight Protectors, in that way that they were originally formed under the Great Kingdom's banner, so to speak. They were part of the Great Kingdom, and then when they broke off, they kind of renewed themselves as separate, completely separate knighthoods, not loyal to the Great Kingdom, but they seem to have taken a lot of the goodness with them, so to speak, and left over a majority of Hextorian knights and stuff in
Are you for goodness
the Heartlands
or badness? Sorry,
Mhm.
that was a Caddyshack quote. I shouldn't have done that. Yes. So let's very cool information on them.
And thank you, Gary, for liking my the shields and stuff. And there will be more comments. So yep.
So let's go to one now that there's very little information on until the 3rd edition, right? The Living Greyhawk era, and that's we'll just flip back here and we'll go back
the next big one.
the Knights of the Watch.
Yes, exactly. The
Okay.
next big one. Yep.
So, and this is the original glossography, one paragraph. Certain stout soldiers from Bissell, Grandmarch, Geoff, Jeff, and Keeland are invited. So Keeland, that's from, I'm surprised that's from Knighthood when you think about it, but it makes sense. They hold certain castles, keeps, and strongholds along the Keddish border and elsewhere in the Western Mountains. The Watchers are near monastic order and are very strictly disciplined. Okay, and that's it.
But they seem to be have the same purpose in many ways as the Knight Protectors in Great, but for the Empire of Shieldland or the Kingdom of Shieldland. So in their imperial days back in history, that seems to have been the purpose. Meaning most empires seem to want to have their knightly orders as a way of elevating certain units in their military, so to speak.
Right.
And that seems to have gone both with the Great Kingdom and the Empire, or the Kioish Empire.
Looking for,
and they were the two biggest powers at its time, so I guess it makes sense. And then they kind of both broke up.
And giants.
And then
and I'm looking for something else here.
Then we have the other Living Greyhawk edition to it.
Oh, that was the same thing. Sorry. Yeah. So thank you, Jose, for giving me these. Of course, it moved over here. Give me 1 second here. I'm messing up as I'm linking so many things here. I got to do it so it doesn't go onto a different one. I got to do this. I got to do that. Okay. All right. So we got multiple things here about the Knights of the Watch and a subgroup, which I don't know how they first appeared, but no, and that's the Knights of Dispatch. Okay. So. Great. Now it's not linking there. Kidding.
Gary, did you create Knights of Dispatch also?
I'm not sure. Okay, let me just move this over here. So, the Knights of the Watch have long tradition in Geoff. They have defended the country of others against invaders and have protected people more recently largely as a result of problems perceived with Watcher tactics during the Giant invasion. All right, so this goes right to the G series or the Return to Giant series. And the two groups work together but have differing philosophies. So we'll take a look at their handbook. But in here, it says that prior to the Greyhawk Wars, the Knights of the Watch claimed more than 6,500 members. That is huge. Huge. So it says after the war, currently 2,500 Knights of the Watch roam the Sheldamar Valley. That's still a lot. I mean,
yeah.
So. Some Watchers are supposed to. Here it is. The Knights of Dispatch are in here. Knights of Dispatch have traded their hatred for the West for deep hatred of non-humans who caused their homeland so much grief in the last decade. So as Knights of the Watch are low quality and Dispatch consider themselves a higher group. So we have two Knighthoods in the same area, which is kind of interesting. And I know
Grand March would dispute that they are low quality.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but it appears that there are two subgroups, and they have different abilities. And Jose specifically told me, and as we go to as I move that one out of the way and go to this one here. Here's the this is from 2004. This is from Living Greyhawk. You have a really cool thing on the Knight's Dispatch, a document from here. So, and this is the expert from Living Greyhawk Gazetteer, which we just showed about Trilizminane. Did I say that right? So, it's one of the standards of the bards of Sheldamar Valley. So, you have you get a lot of bardic tale here, which is really neat. and there are 12 precepts of the Knights of Dispatch. So, which is cool. I mean, you actually have, you know, tenets to follow here, which is neat. And Jose says they're more ranger based as opposed to warrior based, which is trackers and hunters and things
the
like that.
The difference is the watch are tech straight on, and the dispatch use guerrilla tactics. That's the philosophical difference.
Yeah, there's one other group I think associated to this, and that's the Hands of Light. Are they mentioned there somewhere?
So I have their heraldry too.
Yeah, yeah.
So
because I saw the heraldry. And
I asked Jose this. There's no difference between heraldry between the watch and dispatch. They use the same heraldic symbol.
Yeah.
So and then there is this, which I think is a subgroup.
Yeah. I created that heraldry from a living Greyhawk design, so to speak. I just refined it a little bit. To me, it seems elven to some degree. I get the same vibe as from a lot of the elven heraldry that from the same.
I wouldn't doubt if this had something to do with the Feywild and GF as well. Maybe there were knights that were in the Fey.
Yeah.
If Jose is on, he can always throw something in the chat. He may know.
I'll see if I can find Hands of Light.
Yeah, I'm thinking that because you're right, it really does have a Fey feel there.
Yep.
So Knights of Watch lack squires because, as Gary says, a lot of them are squire-like themselves. So yeah, that is cool there on their heraldic symbolry. Let me just see if I can go here. So Knights of the Dispatch dispatches a message, and Al delivers messages. They're postal workers. Oh, that's wrong, Dale. Dale's slamming them. So Megan, thank you. Great to see you, and great to see some great stuff on your Instagram. It's been awesome. So a knight is known by his actions. That's really awesome. That makes sense. There's no higher calling and no greater duty. Precept of Judgment. And there's a lot of precepts here. So whoever wrote this up did a really great job as far as the precepts. The precept of mannerliness. You have to have etiquette.
It seems like the Hands of Light is the fighting order of Foltus, Grand March.
Okay. So,
yep.
So they are, but they have the Knights of the Watch subsect.
Yeah, and I think that's the only thing. I think I made the design of the shield, and there is only shield of the because that sentence. See if I can find where that sentence comes from.
So Adam. Great point.
Yeah.
I had the same problem when I started 3 years ago. And then Brian Blumklotz, who hasn't been around much lately because he's got a lot of other real life things going on, helped me create my heraldry. Right? And then Anna helped me develop it further.
Hang on a second.
So you just got to start somewhere.
Yeah. The Hands of Light is mentioned in Living Greyhawk Adventure. That's where it comes from.
So it's not
a Grand March Regional Adventures by Dennis Waltman. Yep. Okay. That's where it comes from.
So that's really deep in the weeds.
Exactly. And there was one sentence that mentioned that. So I created that shield from one sentence.
That's okay. Gary, are they in your Keeland article? Because if they are, I'll bring that up.
Yeah.
The Knights of the Dark Watch.
Yeah. So that's one of it's my design based on the sentence that says, hang on a second, the sentence says, yeah.
So the Order observes a single sacred event. Sunset Fourth is Fast of the Murder Bethane. This is the high holy day of the Watch and Dispatch. Very neat. Typically in this week leading up to this date, the knight's on simple clothing and a hair shirt. He repents all of his failings during the past year and seeks out all who may wrong to make restitution. Fast for the whole of the holy day, consuming only the barest amount of water needed to survive. On following fast, he sleeps, but not. And he, remember, it's he, she, everyone. Okay, please.
Oh, yeah.
So immediately before dawn, he doffs his clothing. All right. So a knight who must miss this fast must, on the first opportunity, seek out a leader in the order who will sign atonement. Huh. It's definitely a huge holy day. So, okay. I'll take a look because I can bring that up pretty quick. So neat. So here I love the foes. Are you ready? goblinoids, orcs, similar creatures, giants, and hextorians.
Oh.
And of course, they also consider most Backloonish. Always the Backloonish. Everyone does not get along with Backloonish.
No, but they are the weird ones from the West, so yeah.
Of course they are, Chantel, and they should, because it's so bad. It just makes total sense in your thing. They're just like everyone's deets nutsing it. Because when you get a bad idea, it's so bad it's good. Excuse me, allergies. Grand Duke of Owen. Here comes out a allergy thing. Yeah, they don't
happens.
have. Incorrect.
It happens.
What's up, Michael? The order is closely aligned with military of the Grand March and with the Church of Heronius. The Dark Watch, a sister organization based in Keelan, is also counted as an ally.
Yeah.
Yes. Adam, Mike, talk a bit. Yes, please. Talk
yes,
about.
Yeah, they're good.
So the Dark Watch are also called the Knights of Malgari.
Oh, Malgari.
And
what's...
I would, an order within an order. Gary knows, of course, a lot more about them. They seem kind of sinister to me. Like if you're digging around in Vecna stuff, that kind of stuff, and they're called the Dark Watch, that implies to me, without reading anything, that they're like corrupted knights.
Yeah, there's interesting because
be
there
wrong.
are these kind of, there's like a layer beneath the story history we know, go back 2,000-3,000 years, and you have that kind of the Vecna, the Urflan, there's a lot of early Erdi stuff, and before the migration, meaning there's an interesting layer to develop there. I think that has a lot of cool things to dig into. Yeah.
I'm just looking through this quickly to see if I can find it.
I love that banner thing. It's so cool.
Yeah, banners are, they'd be down the road, right?
That's a project high on my list.
Here it is. The only national knighthood represented in Keelan is the Watchers. Knights of the Watch are most common in the northern quarters of the kingdom and are in Grand March. Many can still be found service at the throne of the Lion of various independent nobles. Hugo Geoff related distantly to the nobility of Keelan is the putative leader of the order. However, a branch of the Watchers known as Malgari, or Dark Watch, like Mike said, are found only in Keelan, are primarily active in the Duchy of Dorland and the northern provinces. Okay. Watchers are concerned with the defense of the kingdom from external threats and influences, particularly the Backloonish. Again, the Knights of Hearts are considered rivals as well.
Yeah, but they are the Kioish arch enemy is the Backloony. So, kind of, yeah. And then the Giants came in and screwed up the show. So, yeah.
Seems like it. All right. Well, that's really cool. So we have that. And like I said, Jose, thank you for giving this to me. So it appears that, and I'm assuming that this, Jose, the dispatch was used a lot more because people thought they were cooler in your Geoff games. I'm assuming some people were Knights of the Watch, but most of them, like it says, it's the same organization, but two different directions, which is kind of neat that it was taken and separated. So, and it says once.
Well, you got to have the dispatch, because if you're making a knight in for convention play and then you're limiting it to only fighters and paladins, then you got to broaden the class appeal, I guess. So enter the dispatch.
Yes, this M5 tie-in puts a good point. Yeah, it's a good counters with light colors on the dark. People large are identified at a distance. Some are good. Yep. The knights in general were not well liked. Okay. Yeah. So, probably the largest contingent of knights, right, is this organization. It's huge because it goes the entire length of the mountains and all the way through up the western Sheldomar.
Yeah.
They got a lot of ground to cover,
Yeah. But what's cool about it is there's some development here in Living Greyhawk, which you can utilize starting in the Gazetteer working your way up through the Living Greyhawk era. So I used the watch in my campaign. I had one character who was actually in both orders. It was an NPC ages ago. Just to connect in, she had a keep in the like on the Hell Furnaces border in the Western Yeomanry. Her family was from there, but she had come and joined the Order of Ulick, and that was all I ever did with the watch because it was just so. There wasn't anything in the old days. In the 80s, there was one paragraph, right? That's
There's
it.
nothing.
There's nothing. So this development's gone. Yeah, and that's the great thing is that it was developed, and there's some great development. So if you are playing in this area now, think about it. You have, for all the ones we discussed, the Heart has got a ton of information. The Protectors have a lot of information in multiple areas, and now this has some great information for you. So we're almost there. We're almost there on them. I'm trying to avoid them, but yes. I don't know the Knights of Nehrun. That one I don't know. So
Never heard of them, Gary.
Knights of Neron is an interesting one. Yeah.
They're probably extinct.
Well, yeah, since the night that it might be there's some form of knighthood existing in Neron these days, but Knights of Neron is kind of, I love the name. It's kind of, yeah.
Yep. So
Von Moltke says, nice.
It's yep.
I couldn't find anything on Knights of Nehrun.
I don't think there's any in the Fultus.
No, I think it's just
so. One
name.
thing,
Yeah.
Knighthoods classes. I know you guys all busting my stones about Venarium Ford, right? All right, whatever. We don't have a class like my Knighthood doesn't have a class limit. You don't have to be Cavaliers and Paladins and all that. You know, mine's alignment based, so I guess it just depends. And just look, the dispatch used a lot more of Rangers and probably other classes that you had in 3rd edition, which is cool. So Knights of the Gloaming Impaled. Wow.
I saw something called the Templars of the Church Militant in Theocracy of the Pale.
Yep.
Yeah, it didn't work for me either, Rick. So
Yeah. To me, it makes sense that Pale should have a knightly order. If any state should have it, they are high on the list.
It sounds like gloaming is the word. I'm surprised it's gloaming and not gleaming.
I thought it was gleaming, but because they have a lot of shining, radiant castles and whatnot up there. But yeah, I don't even know what gloaming means. Yeah.
All right, so let me.
It's a Gygaxian word, maybe made up.
No.
Or is it a real word?
Yeah.
It could be. All right, let me go to From the Ashes here for the next one, which we found out a lot about Carl Sargent, right?
Oh, thank you, Gary. Yeah, gloaming the twilight. Ah, that's cool. Yeah.
Man, English was my worst subject in school. I did not know that. All right, which book? '68. Dun 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 dun. Oh, Prince Melvin, the Knights of Luna. Okay.
Yeah, yes, we have to grab the bull by the horns here.
We do.
Yep.
We do. And we have this. And Anna, where did this come from? The heraldry for this?
It's a Living Greyhawk design. Yep. It's not my design.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so and so. I like the basic idea of it, but I don't like the colors. The color screams too much computers in the 90s when there was no color correction or anything.
Yeah.
So I want to tweak that a little bit because that color to me looks artificial, computerized rather than a color from the real world.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. So that's something that I want to tweak.
Okay. Well, very doable there. And so here we go. Deep breath. I don't have the Knights of Luna in my game at all. Just please note that.
How old are the Knights of Luna?
The Knights of Luna are as old as this publication, right?
How
Exactly.
old are the Knights of Luna in game?
In game, they seem to have existed for a long time. When you read that, I don't get the sense that they created them then and there. I get the sense that they are been part of elven hierarchy of statehood for maybe
Thanks,
millennia.
Mike. Really?
I don't get the sense that there was something they invented then and there. I get the sense that they have probably been around for quite some time. But
Okay.
when it comes to products, I don't think they're mentioned before from the ashes. I think
No,
that's when they were created.
Yeah.
So there's Carl Sargent era construction.
No doubt, as we found out from Rick Rose on Sunday night, that Carl Sargent used a lot of his campaign, and this may have been pulled right from his campaign. And goes, you know what?
Might be. Yeah.
I have Melf. I might as well just make him the leader.
Yeah.
Right. You know.
Yeah.
And so I mean that's possibly.
But I like it because it makes sense that they have an organization like that, and call it Knights of Luna. I think it makes sense too.
Okay.
So I really like it, I must say. Yep.
We have no background on the history, none, so we don't know.
No, exactly. We don't know. It's not even hinted at. I just get the gut feeling that it doesn't seem to me like, because if they were created then and there at the time, I think that should be mentioned. It sounds more like it's an established elven thing.
My logical idea here is that the Knights of Luna are as old as the Knights of Heart, if not older.
Yep.
There would be more Knights of the Heart High Forest if Luna didn't exist. So I would say elves, if you're growing up an elf, you want to be a knight. You want to be a Knight of Luna, not a knight of some human knighthood.
Yep. And it might even be that the Order of the Heart, of the High Forest and stuff, were inspired by the Knights of Luna.
Yeah.
I'm just putting out ideas here for people to run with, so to speak.
It's all of it's possible.
Breadcrumbs for people to grab. Yep.
All of it is absolutely possible. So we don't have. Rick, no, because right here it says the answer to that is no, because it says only half of them live in Selene, so the other half are out outside Selene.
But
so the answer
I get
no.
I get no, but I'm getting it a bit like they are the secret state agents of Selene, meaning Selene's official policy is neutrality. We don't meddle in other countries' business. But I in my campaign I run Knights of Luna as the Selene's secret foreign policy, meaning they are meddling in other countries' affairs, especially evil ones, so to speak. They help the good ones and they meddle in the evil ones, but they don't do it officially.
Yeah.
They're like
that
Switzerland.
Neutrality only happened after the Greyhawk Wars.
Yeah, exactly. So I take it that Selene don't officially take stands. That's why they have Knights of Luna that secretly doing it, so to speak. So they a bit like the Bone Shadow and stuff from IUs, but the good ones, so to speak. They're out there and doing good deeds and supporting and helping in secret, kind of thing. That's how I run it, but that's just how I played them. You can do it very different if you want to.
So I'm going to put something out there.
Yeah.
Hateful Wars, Tommy John Kelly's entire discussion on it. I don't think he mentions the Knights of Luna in it at all.
That's interesting because they ought to have been around if you have played them back in the day. But that can also be that they were there secretly, so to speak. Yeah. They don't wear shields up on the battlefield. They are agents. It's an honorary.
We'll have to ask them about that sometime.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah, we could discuss that.
Yeah.
So.
But I run them as a secret. They are Selene's foreign intelligence service and security service that get things done. Yeah.
See, I agree with Gary. I say that they were created after the war because they realized that they got to band together because of the neutrality. But it's okay. Yeah. It's to each his own. If we had some background, oh my gosh, second hype train of the night. Thank you.
Whoa,
so
awesome.
If that's the case and they're just provocateurs and agents. Yeah. Would that make them more like the Knights of Mithranor, or than the Knights of Camelot?
Well, yeah, because then it's more like it's a title. It's like a title within the realm that you get, so to speak. If you're one of the best servants of the Queen, then you are part knight of
Knights of the
Luna,
dinner
so to speak.
table.
So
Yeah.
here's something I want to put out there too. We've talked to Luke Gygax multiple times.
Yeah.
And we said, "Hey, Luke, that's cool. Mel's the head of the Knights of Luna." And he goes, "I have no idea what you're talking about."
He don't
Yeah.
know any of that.
He doesn't know anything about it. And Melf was
Yep.
his character, so just
Oh.
note
Yep.
note that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that means that we know that it was a post Gary Gygax
Yeah,
invention,
absolutely.
so to speak, invented by during Sargent's reign at Greyhawk. So.
I'm going to link one thing only for 10 seconds. Here's my heraldry for my knighthood in Selene, and I'll get it down. Here's my Selene Forest Night's Watch. There it is. Brian Bumclutch did the original. I've updated it to the Anna style and with Selene, and there you go.
Cool.
So, yep.
Yep.
It was
Awesome.
fun doing it. And there's only 12 of them in existence, kind of similar to the deal in the Knights of the Heart.
Yep.
So, thanks. Like I said, Adam, you got to start somewhere, and you just, thank you. Note that visuals, everyone wants visuals in your game. So it's a heraldry. Notice, Greyhawk's known for that heraldry around the cartography, and so and Anna has taken. I didn't draw it, Chantel. I used Armorial Gold and made all the edits to it, and Anna taught me how to use it on that real shield now, and I've done a whole bunch, more.
I provided the template, and then Jay did all the cool touches to it. Put together. Yep.
So I'm learning how to use it. So it's fun. It's
I've done 170 now. I think a bit over 170, and there's more coming. So
I haven't done about 20.
There is all in all, I have 335 pieces of heraldry, and most of it is more than half of it is my version of the official ones, and probably about 150 on my own design now. So, and there's more coming too.
So, one point, there are no. Look at this, okay, and this is second edition. So I forget if Cavaliers have been removed at this point because I kept them in. They're warriors, so that's fighters, fighter mages, fighter clerics. That's it. Most of them, and they're some 1/3 half elves, which makes sense too with in Selene. So that is interesting. To note that Carl went the multi-class route a lot, and a lot of his characters, the Carl Arrows and all, are all multi-class at this point. So, what was that, Mike?
Oh, the chat.
Oh man, well, people aren't other areas, right? So that's all we'll say on the Knights of Luna, because really, what else is there to say beyond? If you're using your game, great. Nothing wrong with it at all.
It's the heart.
It is what it is.
Right.
So, yeah. All right, we got a couple left still. We got the big one left. We got a big one, right? A big one. So I'm going to go a little in reverse on this one and show you this reference, Bastion of Faith, which is actually basically Knights of the Holy Shielding in here, right? There's a whole bunch of them. And this article from Dungeon 113. Okay. And this is really well done. And once this was done up, I utilized it in my campaign, back converted it to 182E, of course. And that is this Valor is Our Blood by Rick LaRue. And this is a Living Greyhawk discussion on Knights of the Holy Shielding. Yep. Franz Torkeep's in here. Yes, he is. And look, see, I'm ahead of you there. Look at that. Wow. There you go. Franz Torkeep. Also, you have Katarina in here too. You have a lot of them in here. Inkosi, Lamanda, Armad, they're all Knights of the Holy Shielding detailed in this article. It also created a prestige class in 3rd edition for Knight of the Holy Shielding. So this article told a lot of the background on where the Knighthood was going in this era. right? For what their development was, what so we got, I guess we got a 2-level hype train. We'll do 2 giveaways tonight, by the way. We get multiple level, hype trains, just so you know. We'll do 2 giveaways, 2 choice. And I found it intriguing, and I kind of merged this. I merged the article and the Bastion of Faith, which I want to just pop that up real quick
I
here.
don't think I own that.
It's great.
You can get it as PDF, I think, from Drive-Thru RPG.
And why isn't that linking now? There it is. Okay. So we know from discussion and from him playing in my game that our Eric Boyd did all the deity work in here. So we have especially Precept of Judgment and Hexter in this book. And this book is by Bruce Cordell, but we know all the deity work was by Eric Boyd. So the great thing about this is it is set, and it says here, published worlds and the Bastion of Faith, Greyhawk Earth. So traditional, it says here it can be other places it can be put. Fear any shield lands in the kingdom of Neron, but here it says the shield reclaimed, which lies at the heart of a recently reclaimed city of Critwall in the shield lands. Okay.
It's pretty specific.
Yes,
Yep.
it's pretty specific. So it's not on Mumford on the island, it's in Critwall. And if you notice, it's on my map, on my Greyhawk map. That's exactly where it is. Thank you, Nicole. So, and there's great pictures in here. There's also, if you're forgotten, there's a place to put in Forgotten Realms as well. It's Planescape Birthright. Wow. Even Dark Sun. So, and it goes through, this is very detailed information.
Feel sorry for those knights.
Yeah. There's very, very detailed information, and the player characters, once again, just like Rick Rose said, love development. They're hugely developed in this book, all of them. And so what I had done is I merged this book and that article and put them all together into the Knights of the Holy Shielding. So I have a very detailed developed Knights of the Holy Shielding group in my game, which is kind of cool, which I think it's fun. It's fun to do. Oh boy, thank you for that. So Anna and I have gone different directions with the Knights of the Holy Shielding. There's nothing wrong with that. My Knights of the Holy Shielding is kind of still slightly incompetent. Has an incompetent lawful neutral Holy Crusader at any cost group, kind of on the Homer view, and then the Katarina view, which is let's be patient, let's be forthright, let's think about what we're doing. And I know yours are very, very ultra militant.
Yeah, I took them as I wanted to model. I wanted to think what would a good cult be, and so I kind of looked at them and said that okay, then if the powers of good want to really set an example, and they kind of shook up after Homo got taken by Ayus and stuff, then I needed a backstory for it. So I said that okay, now I want the Knights of the Holy Shielding post Homer, the new version, so to speak, that is in my campaign 20 years old. So there is now a new generation of young knights that have learned and also they need financial backing, they need leadership, they need a purpose, so to speak. And the purpose is easy. It's to fight Ayus and reclaim and get rid of his influence in what used to be the Shieldlands, and then to restore ties with Foriundi and the Ernst and Neron as well, so to speak, to get in on the diplomatic side. And I've simply started figuring out I wanted dragons in my campaign, and I thought this is a perfect time. And because I've felt that Bahamut and Hieronymus is an aspect of Bahamut. So I simply say, well, then Bahamut will probably insert the best leader, the most beefy, reliable leader he can come up with. So I converted Katarina to a gold dragon that is doing it on Bahamut's behalf, so to speak, taking control of it, and has financial muscle to back it up, so to speak. And Bahamut sees it as an investment against evil, and he's looking at it for like a century going forward, and he has elvens and others backing, so to speak. And then I tried to create the Katarina backstory back 200 years in history.
And it's got some great some great
yeah,
shield
write it
work
back
for
and then
Walworth.
added heraldry and stuff to go in with it,
Walworth.
added heraldry and stuff to go in with it,
And
then I
Stazzer.
take it. So now she had, and the restored Knights of the Shield have had 20 years to start fighting, and now they're starting to they build that momentum. They have the money, they're starting to have the manpower, they are slowly and meticulously hitting Ayus where it hurts, so to speak. And that's where my campaign comes in the picture, so to speak. Yep.
My campaign is more of a Wild West Shieldlands now.
Yeah.
You know, where Ayus is kind of slogged to a grind, can't get anything accomplished, has moved as far as he can. I got Foltes's followers in there. Knights of Holy Shielding are fighting amongst themselves, you know. And I got that evil Order of Ulick sticking its nose in where it shouldn't. So there you go.
And I have it also that the Knights of they are Heronians, but they also have strong ties to Palor and Rao. Rao because they want the diplomatic field, so to speak, and the tie-in with Valuna, and with Heronius they have close ties with Furiundi and stuff. But they also want to have the Rao is also the tie-in to the Old Faith. So there are new alliances being forged after the Great Kingdom fell apart, and the struggle between Erdi and Flan are no longer the battlegrounds. The battleground has shifted. So yeah.
So there's no right or wrong with anything, but just note that you have two locations beyond. Oh, the Knights of Holy Shielding get wiped out, and Homer gets taken, and then what happens after that? So you do have published source data, one that's in a black bordered book, but that's okay because back in the second edition era they did a lot of those. They wanted to it's kind of like what WotC does now. They wanted to neutrally place things and then use it for multiple, but it's a Greyhawk book. And then you have this article from Living Greyhawk, which is I think it's a Dungeon 113. They put a lot of those articles in Dungeon Magazine, not Dragon, which is kind of cool. They're easier to find. So just note that it's there. Whoops, let's go back a little bit to see. So that's a fun one to have, that you can do a lot with because Shieldlands are wide open.
And Order of the Shield is also a really classic. You can make them really classic, like the knights in battle, so to speak. You can really make them shine militarily, or you can just make them an inept order who just are buffoons, who are kind of full of themselves and the pomp and circumstance. If you want to, you can. Or if you want to have a corrupt knightly order, you can make them that too. So they are kind of a good target that you can paint different pictures of, so to speak, and you can kind of go one way or the other. And the Wild West analogy, I think, is a really great one, because I also see the Shieldlands like the Wild West in a lot of ways, because there is a large part of country between the order in Critwall that the Knights of Holy Shielding now have re-established, but it's only that little area, and then they're trying to project power, and Ayus is also like, he's a half-spent force. His momentum he lost his momentum 10 years ago, and now it's shifting back and forth a little bit, and the other side is starting to learn how to deal with them. So you get a lot of there's a lot of depth in the conflict, so to speak, and then it's a multi-dimensional thing that you can kind of.
Thank you.
How many Knights of the Shielding are there?
Good question.
Yeah, it depends on what. If you go back to the heydays, I think there are several thousands. If you go back to before the war with Horn Society and the Bandit Kingdoms in the 580 early or late 570s, just before the Greyhawk Wars, they had a war between Horn Society and Bandit Kingdom, kind of banded together and attacked the Shieldlands. But before then, I get the sense that there were thousands of them. And then a lot of them were hit even in that war, and then Ayus invasion, and after that they were probably down in a few hundreds tops.
I have it once again as a DM. I want it manageable, so I can. So I say at most 125. I think what is this?
Well, here's why I asked, because on the Greyhawk online wiki, the Knights of Holy Shielding have a regiment breakdown of knight, and a shield, which equals 6 knights,
Hmm.
and a lance, which equals 4 shields.
Yep.
A banner of knights equals 4 lances, and a battalion of knights equals 4 banner, 4 banners. Anyhow, it all boils down to a battalion is 384 knights.
But that's troops. I look at that as knights that they control, troops that the knights control, not true lord status knights. But once
that's not how it's spelled out.
I know that's
a shield is 6 knights.
Yeah,
that's
but
crazy.
I think it's also different because they have completely. If you take Order of the Heart and take the Order of the Shield, I think they're completely different ideas of what they're doing. Meaning Order of the Heart is and Knights of Luna or especially Order of the Heart. I get the sense that they're not big military organizations, so to speak. The Order of the Heart is a way for the King Belvoir to simply point out who is favorites and the most useful, and it's more like a distinguished mark you get, so to speak, and it might come with privileges both tax wise and you get to speak to the king. You might be having proposals, the king might listen to you more and stuff like that. And the Order of the Shield is a military organization that runs the Shield Lance, and they have like a multi-tier membership, meaning you have the foot soldiers. They are members of the order, but they are just foot soldiers. And then then you have like the sergeants and stuff that leads, and then you have the top knights, meaning the commanding organization, and at the top the executive team, and then one commander at the very top, so to speak.
So I don't like getting into the weeds of some people like getting more into depth. Like BB families is what about squires, other staff? Well, of course, but I just don't like
exactly. But that's the interesting thing is that the knighthoods are very different, and I think it's cool in the setting that you let them be different beasts, and different meaning the knight protectors might have been very much like the Knight Order of the Shield back in the day, and then they shifted through history and became something else. And Order of the Heart might be too.
Yeah.
And so they have different purposes and organization and structures through history and stuff. And so and it's also something you can tweak with so it suits your campaign. That's the idea, so to speak. You should make something that makes cool for your stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we did, Armin. We did them already a while ago. Sorry. We wanted to make sure we hit time on this, so going well here. I know there's a lot of smaller knighthoods we missed. I didn't know Neron had a knighthood. I didn't know the Pale had a knighthood.
Well, we don't know, but at least I think they should have knighthoods or similar. And now we come to what could be considered a knighthood organization or not, so to speak. So that's the is any militaristic organization a knighthood, or meaning we have one that is evil. We haven't had any real evil ones yet, more than meaning the Hextorians, Knight Protectors, they had the Hextorian branch and so on. But then we have the Legion of Black Death, that is IUs. Is that a knighthood organization? Are knighthoods inherently good or neutral, or could they be evil too? It's like, I don't know. I'm just like throwing ideas out here now.
So Greyhawk, the one that Bill brought up, Bill Master Crafter brought up. Let's discuss. Okay, how about that? So let me go to Greyhawk from the Ashes, and let's discuss if it's a knighthood or not. If I can find it right off the bat here, I should be able to. It may be in the other book. I bet it's in the second book. But so the Gnarly Forest Rangers, is it a knighthood? Good question.
I would say borderline.
Right.
The Dreadwalkers of Dreadwood.
I think it's in the other book.
Borderline, so to speak.
Yeah, I think
and the Knights of Luna is kind of a borderline too, in my opinion.
Right, but they call themselves
exactly.
Knights.
Some of them are called that way, and then I guess they're easier to.
Yeah, I did. Yes, yeah, absolutely. A lot, and I appreciate that. I'm trying to find the right. It's probably I'm in the wrong book. There are a lot of other knighthoods that Black Knights of the Horn Society. I've never heard of them either. So there's a lot that I've never heard of, and I'd be just shooting in the dark if I could not find them quickly. In this case, I just
And we have the Urasi, or whatever, how it's called in Bandit Kingdoms.
Mm.
They are mercenary groups, meaning
Yeah, I
they
don't
are
think I'm
not
gonna be able to
really
find it.
they're not knighthoods, but they're militaristic
It's got to be this one.
organization of warriors. So
Page 50. It's got to be around there.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a lot. So I'm assuming a lot were founded during the Living Greyhawk era. Correct? You know, a lot.
A chance,
With
because
each-
every living Greyhawk region has to have everything.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
Yeah, it's gotta be before
each
this.
each region needed to have a militaristic organization that paladins and very similar
Yeah, and
fighter types could feel at home.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I appreciate you. Like I
Yeah.
said, I will be the first
And-
to admit I don't know everything there is to know about Greyhawk.
Yeah.
I was in my own little hole, you know, in the Sheldamar for years. Here we go.
Yeah, no
Okay.
knighthoods in BK. Okay, thank you, Casey. So yeah, we can write off the Urhasi mercenaries
me
from
see.
the knighthood list. That's
All
good.
right.
Yeah.
So look at this. The group is democratic, has no leaders, issues orders, but there are seven Ranger Knights.
Mhm.
That's just a
Kind of
Yep.
looks like a knight. I
that's a
don't know.
picture on
It's-
Casey's book.
It's hard to
there.
tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So there you go. So they're called Ranger Knights. Each knight has its own followers or younger rangers who swear personal allegiance to him and return each knight undertakes to train. So they call them Ranger Knights here. Now, is that just the
Yeah.
level of the Ranger? Is that just a title for the,
That might be, yeah.
So
But I think one of the other criteria is that I think a knighthood should
Yes.
fight for some higher purpose of some sort. They're not
Oh.
just doing it for money or for themselves. They need to serve a higher purpose, whether that is to protect a nation, to further a religion, or just for a moral cause. But they need to fight for something more than themselves. So a mercenary group from Yorhasi, for instance, can be a
Mhm.
knighthood because they're just out there to fight for money. So yeah, at least that's my idea. But then on the other hand, does that need to be good, or can a bunch of organized hoodlums that fight for IUs? Nah, I don't want to. I don't want to taint the term knighthood, but there are some similarities between various evil organizations like Hextorian Knights, Death Knights, the Legion of Black Death, Horn Society, and stuff. So but there's some, I think, some similarities, but I would not call them knighthoods. No.
right, they're organizations.
Yeah, exactly. They're militaristic organizations.
So you know, I just think that they're calling the 7 Ranger Knights as a title of a lead
Yeah.
You know, I just don't think this is a knighthood. It's an order. It's an organization of Rangers.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
But did the
you know,
old faith have any knighthood kind of organizations back in the day?
Probably
Meaning,
not.
did Flan have that?
I would
Not
doubt
that
it.
we've heard of. Nothing that survived into modern times, so
Yeah.
to speak. I know of, but
I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
it's more, you know, loosely knit group.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Back
But
then.
something,
I
if
could
you
be
want
wrong.
to, you can kind of invent stuff from history back in the day. Maybe there were some Flan knighthoods back in the day, organizations, long before migration times. Yeah.
Hey, Vancouver. Yeah. So just note, in your game, it's not hard to make up a knighthood. I did
I was
it.
just going
I
to
made
say,
up
you're
2
the
of them.
expert. Exactly. So please indulge us now with
Uh,
the tenets behind them and stuff, how they fit in.
I would say the following: have a common goal, whatever it is. Usually, good against evil is a smart thing to have of some sort.
Mhm. Yeah.
It was defending the Ulic states from humanoids of the Pomarge and the Sus. Also working with Celine. That's what we did, right?
Mhm.
Back in the day, and then having a goal of, you know, mutual defense. It seemed like the right thing to do at the time because the Ulic states were there just hanging out, right?
Mhm.
There were. There's just hey, there's Keelan's here, and you know,
And
so
it's kind of interesting because
Yeah.
in a way, meaning that the Empire of Shieldland, back when they were an empire, they had the Knights of the Watch, but they kind of got stuck up there in the north. So so you kind of filled the niche in the south and the southeast,
Sure.
where the Knight of the Watch seems to have forgotten, so to speak, because they're not mentioned in the Ulics at all. So it's kind of interesting. You filled a need there, I think, which is kind of really cool.
Well, I appreciate that. I look at
Yeah.
it this way. I was inspired, right? And like I said, I was inspired by the original glossography in 1980. Like, this is a
Yeah.
cool idea to have an organization. I mean, and we've always been, our campaign's always been good against evil. There's some neutral
Yeah.
groups. We don't play evil characters, only rarely. But that was a fun thing to do. And, you know, like I said, Adam, it's not hard. You got to come up with a concept, an idea, a cause, build on it, make Greyhawk your own. That's what, you know, that's what
And
I would
heraldry.
say.
Come up with
And
heraldry.
heraldry.
Yes.
Come up with
When
heraldry.
it comes to knighthood, I think it's necessary.
It's
They
absolutely
should have
necessary.
a shield. Yep.
Yep. Absolutely. So there you go. So
what's the other one? Knights of
the Salinas Forest Night's Watch. Right?
Oh, there you go.
Right. I already showed
Yep.
this.
Yep.
It's only 12. This
Yep.
way predates Knights of Luna and public
okay.
source.
Yeah.
So I can always, that's why they annoy me. That's this group. They defend the border of Selene from the Sus Forest, from incursions from the Sus, knowing that the humanoids, the Pomarge humanoids, are always coming through the Sus, and it goes all the way back to the dates of. I think I had this group formed right after the Hateful Wars ended in my history.
Yeah.
So I believe that there's an full article on their history in the Earth Journal. I can't remember what number, but there is an article of this organization. I think it's the NPC. I think it's the NPC Earth Journal, where all the NPCs were in. So, and there you go. And that's a group of 12. It's chartered for 12 only, and that's it. So, and that's they're the two, and they fit my game. I mean, it's just once again, make Greyhawk your own, make your campaign your own.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know, kind of similar to, I think Dale has the Highlanders, right? Uses the Highlanders almost. It's an organization. I don't know if it's a knighthood, but up in the northern province, right?
Yeah.
No, I do not always have the knighthood. It's not, mine's not at all. In fact, the Prince of Ulick and them are at odds. I've been since day one. Knights of the Sundered Gauntlet sounds like a good name for Knights of the Clutch Arrows. Think of names. You can think of a ton of names of knights, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Mike, any ever come up with any organizations in your game that may have turned into a knighthood?
Oh, if I have, I forgot about them.
I have one, the evil that is as close to knighthood that the chaotic evil can probably come. You have the Legion of Black Death. That is, I use elite
Black Death squads.
Soldier, yeah. But then he has one that is the elite of the elite, and that's the old Phalanx. That they are the ones that are the baddest of the bad, so to speak. The old Phalanx, and he wanted to give them a cool old name, and they have a heraldry to boost. So,
which we haven't seen yet.
I think you have it in your batch that I gave to you.
What's it called? I'm going to show that if I do.
Yep, old Phalanx. I think it was part of that.
Because let me see.
It was part of the latest.
Old? I have Old Faith. I don't have Old Phalanx.
You don't?
No.
It was part of the latest batch in.
Is it titled Old Phalanx?
Yep, with
No.
PH.
I have Old Faith, or is it? It's not just Phalanx.
It was part of the last Patreon post. So my patrons they got it.
I'm a patron too.
Yep.
But you know, I don't see it. Damn, I would have linked it.
Hang on a second. It's
okay.
It's in the Meyerhawk thingy. So yeah. So there we.
Are we gonna crash my stream here? All right,
so it's an old fail. There is 3 versions of it: the dark version, and the intimidate version, and the incinerate version. These are magical shields they have that have a bit of abyss in them, and they have some cool magical powers. So you can either have them dark, where you can barely see the.
Oh, I thought you were going to link them
shield.
in. Okay.
Yep.
If you can throw them in Discord real quick, I'll pop
Sure,
them.
I'll throw them in Discord.
I'll make that. I'll make the risk here.
Okay,
So,
perfect. I'll throw them in first.
The Knights of the Chase are.
First comes the dark version here, and then people. You have good resolution on your stream, so that's the first one, the dark one. And then comes the.
Where are the Knights of the Chase from? Oh, Great Kingdom.
Oh.
Sundi, Ratik, Almor, Bandit Kingdom, Shieldlands, Keeland, and Yomari. Wow.
Knights in the Bandit Kingdoms.
Yeah. Well. Oh, they're the Tritharian. Oh yeah. I have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Oh my
That's from Living
gosh.
Direct Journal.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh my. All right. So as Anna's doing that, man, my brain is really shut off because I made that a night class already. I completely forgot. Bill linked it to me in an article. Who wrote that article, Knights of the Chase? This is Creighton Broadhurst. Creighton Broadhurst, yes. So my gosh, I should have known that. Here we go. All right, I have that. Knights of the Chase. Duh, it's brand new. We actually in our new group of first level characters. Oh wait a minute, I think I have them, Anna, but they're called something different. What are they? What's the name of those? I know I saw.
I use old Phalanx.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's what. Yeah, I do have them because.
Yeah, I thought so. Because
you said old Phalanx. I looked under. Oh, I didn't look under. I use old Phalanx, so I do have them.
Yep. They're all listed. I use them. Yep.
So I made a Knight of the Chase up. It's a new class.
These are everywhere.
Bill's playing them, yes. And see, we even look. Champions of Vengeance, Dragon 297, page 92 by Creighton Broadhurst. We've already linked it. Yes, thank you for the reminder there, Rick. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Have the abilities already set. Gain Neron's Breath and Services Special War Dog. Gain Harukin Services Intelligent Hawk. We got a lot of cool things coming. This character will be end of the summer when we do our new first level. He will be in Norwell, that character. So we'll actually see a Knight of the Chase in my game.
That is awesome. Yeah.
I've tried to get Creighton on. I haven't Paul Luby, but yeah, I've tried to get Creighton on. So
yeah, I lost my contact with Paul Luby. He sent me some stuff back in the day. Lots of it. Yeah.
All right, so it's under I use. So it means I have it.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Yep.
I use Sindel.
Yeah. No, not that one. That's another one. But yeah, that's the
Shadowclaw.
No.
No, here we go.
Take the dark one first. That's the dark one. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's the dark.
So that's the in normal state when you see it. You have to be really close to see what it is, so to speak. And then there's the intimidate version. That's the intimidate version. They a little bit of the powers are
and then the incinerate version.
Incinerate version. And the cool thing, what they do is that they create a bit of abyss in surrounding the knight having the shield. So with a whole bunch of purposes and stuff.
That's awesome. So we have a dark Phalanx.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that's the
Yep.
So it's kind of cool, and it's the Iusian. If you look closely, it's the Iusian skull times twice that forms the face.
Kind of.
All the shields, all the Iusian shields are based on exactly the same design. It's just a matter of what you show, and you show the whole thing, and there's a purpose to it. So they're using that's part of the Iusian symbol. And you showed, go back one more, and there you have Sindel. There you have Sindel. It's the two Iusians laughing skulls that forms the face.
That's cool.
Yep. And there is a symbology to that. That's if you figured that out, you figured out the my campaign, so to speak. There you have it. That's exactly. And if you look at the bones in that skull, that's the bones of the Shadowclaw, and it's one half of the face of Sindel, and so on and so forth. So
nice.
So they're all based on the same design. So they're one tie into the other. So if you read them and look at them, they're like a living, what do you call a rebus or something? Is like like reading hieroglyphs. There's a meaning to it, and they're tied into it. So there's a story behind it, and that's the story of Ius and his power, where it comes from.
If you want to solve immediately, all you got to do is sign up for Anna's Patreon.
Exactly. All of these are available for my patrons and have been for a while with some backstories and stuff. I haven't said after I've done D&D in a castle, I'm going to tell the stories of these and what they come from, and the stories, my idea of, I use really deep, so to speak, and what the old Phalanx is and who Sindel is and stuff like that. I have these kind of stories and stuff that ties into the heraldry. Yeah.
So note that when we get back from GaryCon, because I'll still be there that Sunday, so there'll be no Gavin the Sunday after next. After that, we'll have a heraldry show.
Yes, we have to have a
go
show
over
talking more about
stuff you've
heraldry.
done, I've
Yeah.
done, ideas for everyone.
We should do it. Take it down. Yep.
We'll do it in Gavin because it's going to be a lot of fanning.
Oh yeah, exactly. There's a lot more fandom than the other stuff. So yeah,
absolutely. So yes, so hopefully you enjoyed tonight's discussion.
Yep.
This is we went over the main ones. I know if you compare this to the one which was the third ever Legends Lore on this channel, we did a lot more in depth. I think. I know how to find stuff.
Now. I'm sure.
Yep.
Yeah, we know how to find stuff a little bit more. Yeah, it'll be really cool. You get a lot of tidbits on great heraldry that's out there, and stuff that Anna's done. And like I said, Anna's done 10 times as much as me, which is great. But I will have more done by then. In fact, I'm getting to the point where I think I have 10 left to do. So thank you.
I have about 120 left to do or something
yes,
like that.
You do. You have a
I'm
crazy
doing that.
amount.
I'm doing like 5 or 6 a week. So I'm getting there. Plus I develop 1 or 2 for my own campaign.
Yeah, and that's the point of the discussion, Kai, is think about in your game a little niche area. Say you're adventuring in Sundi or adventuring in ID. Maybe make up a Knights of the Iron League.
Yeah, exactly. Or Pale. You want to have the Paleite should have a knightly organization or exactly.
Knights of the Defense. Knights of the Defense, or
Elmorian Knights, Nyrondian Knights, meaning there's a lot of Bakloonish Knights. What kind of structures do they have in this sense?
I was wondering how long it was going to take you, Anna. Yes, the Bakloonish had knights. The Pharisees and in Ekber and the Spahis and
there you go. Yep.
And Rick has put this out multiple times there, Mike, but all knights, I don't think so.
All knights, they are way too chaotic.
No, all is where knights go to die.
Rich just said all Bakloonies are assassins and blackguards. That's not nice, Rich. That's not nice.
Well, we know that's his position. Yep.
Rich, yes.
Yep.
So, we'll do, look at that. We got some time here. We'll do some shout outs, talk about some things going on. I got 4 streams this week, so, and then probably none next week as I'll be at GaryCon, but let's, what, Mike, anything closing on this discussion, Anna or Mike? I mean, this was really a fun one.
I just want to say this is something that I think a lot of good campaigns should have knights, whether you develop and tweak the existing ones or you make up your own. I think it's kind of cool. It's a fantasy staple and should be one important tool in the toolbox for making cool campaigns, I think.
Very well said. Absolutely. Mike, anything you'd like to say?
Jousts. We need more knight jousts.
Yes. Yep.
So, I mean, I got the terrain to do it, and remember, GaryCon last year was my first ever joust. Maybe we'll have to do another one coming up.
Yeah, and that's one of the things you can make traditions, meaning you have your tradition now in Altamira, and in my campaign in Forundian Litterberg is where the Knights of the Heart, that's where the king comes every year to, and he swears in the new Knights of the Heart, and they have all the tests and the contests of finding out who the coolest knights are, so to speak, in the kingdom, and their honored guests from Voluna and all the other ones participating, and that's why I have there is a week of celebrations. I have it in my calendar, and it's in Littleburg outside of their fields, and it's a huge fair where they come and sell stuff and all sorts of things, and there's competition for archers and a whole bunch, and that's kind of a cool campaign event where you can literally run the joust, you can run archer competitions, and you can run all sorts of other cool things like opening locks on time for rogues. You can invent magical contests and baking contests, all sorts of weird things going on around the big thing of the arena and the knights and stuff. So it's one of these kind of cool. And look at the Ivanhoe, the movie Ivanhoe, or is a good one if you want to be inspired for some knightly action, so to speak, and some tournaments. And there are several other ones that
Would bards do dueling banjos?
yeah, why not? That was
We've
be
had
kind of
that.
cool.
I've
Yeah,
actually had a bard competition.
yeah. Meaning you can come up with all sorts of cool things. So
Yeah.
a tournament could be way more than just knights in shining armor using lances. You can have lots of more stuff.
All right, so when I get back from GaryCon, I got a lot to do. So what I will attempt to do is figure out a festival to
Yeah.
do and some different competitions where we can get some people in on it. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be during a con. There's no reason why, but it, you know, we're working.
Yeah.
We'll work back. We should definitely have another joust and maybe some other competitions.
Mhm.
So yeah, backstabbing. That's funny. that's funny. All right,
Yeah.
I'm getting up some of this stuff up here. So Mike, what's going on? Shout outs, man. What you got going?
See you all at GaryCon next week.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. That sums it up for that. So Anna, what's going on?
There's so much that I need to actually start. I have to publish there. I have to get my notes a little bit, so I have some ideas of. So yeah. So the first of all, the final version of the 576 map, the 2022 edition with Mola and enough stuff, it dropped to my patrons a few days ago. I'm going to drop it for everyone tomorrow, so there will be links on Facebook and Twitch and also Twitter and on my website and all that, so to speak. So it will come in JPEG, easy zoom, and PDF. So that's the final version of the 576 map. It's not hexed one. That will, I'm 2 weeks behind, so I was hoping to have that done, but I have not. And the Atlas version will drop for my patrons tomorrow too, because I've done all all the maps for it. The index is not done yet, and the heraldry compendium will come later, so to speak, when I've done all of the shields. But all the maps, so you can start using there are 98 of them to cover the 11 by 17 maps. I haven't done the covers yet because I'm like 2 weeks behind. So the covers will be done when I get back home from GaryCon, and then I will work on the hexed version of this map, and I'm also start working on the 598 map. So that will probably hopefully be done in April. So that's the next month to kind of wrap up the 2022 edition of the map. And that is basically what there was. More heraldry. I dumped that on the 13th for my patrons. And there was another 40 shields, and before then there was the Meyerhawk shields on March 4. I've been delayed a bit, so there was like a whole bunch of cool stuff being dropped to my patrons this week because I will be gone for a week, so I needed to get them out. And I have a whole bunch of future projects lined up that I will talk about at GaryCon. And I will drop some hints and stuff to my patrons, my top patrons before then, and a little bit of hints and stuff. So there is a list of 10 or 12 projects that I want to do, and some ideas and research and some screenshots on concepts and stuff like that I will be part of my seminars, both for the Legends and Lore seminar and also for the fantasy mapping show at GaryCon. So yeah, that's about it. And I'm leaving on Saturday. So in 2 days, I'm going to Chicago first, and then Lake Geneva. I will fly on my birthday, actually. So, yeah.
Wow. And I will meet you out there Wednesday. I'm flying out, Wednesday early. I get in like at 9:50 because of the hour difference in the morning there. So, yeah, I'll be out there Wednesday.
So thank you everyone who helped me out so much with Patreon money and stuff, because that's what I'm using to go to the convention and to be able to sit and work on this so much. So it's, yeah.
So this is what's going on here next 3 out of 4 days. Tomorrow night, we continue with our Grey Company Trouble at the Free City of Arena. Thank you. So I relinked put up these posts on the D&D Creative tabletop site, and it was in one day it's over 400 likes. So I really wanted to, yeah, it's nuts. And I'll just show you if you didn't follow what happened last week. Here's a map of, I'll do a close up. Well, here's the first big one out, right? So here we go. I admit I ripped off the Frogema from the Living Greyhawk arena fight in Greyhawk City because I liked it, but I threw it. Yeah. So turns out there are elements from the Thieves and Beggars Guild of Divers that want to cause trouble at this event. And the Grey Company are fighting them now outside as they kind of waylaid them. And it's kind of a nasty high-level fight going on. As you can see, there's a fight up top. These are baddies here. So
you even got the Frogmoth out. Or
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Umber Hulk and a Frogmoth. The Umber Hulk they just
Wow.
killed at the end. Yeah,
Mhm.
Frogmoth's undamaged. Oh yeah, absolutely. So coming up. So it's been fun, and that's what we're finishing tomorrow night. Infinite Dimensions Games sponsored giveaway drawings. So we'll give out some great STLs from them. And by the way, that's an Infinite Dimensions Games print. It took Mike Saxon helped with the printing on that with his multiple printers, and it took Bill months to do that thing up. So that one was not quick. A Saturday morning game with the ever mysterious Tim DMing, Saturday, March 19th, 9 a.m., where the children are insane as Rovers of the Barrens game. Some of you out there, Antiquitous, Blue Box, John, Ancient Gamer, are playing in this game. So enjoy it. We will be using Fantasy Grounds for the first time. He'll be using it mostly for map use. All right, so yes, Tim, you'll see Tim, and this is Underdog Session 5. Every couple months we get together, and that'll be our Saturday morning special. It's going to be fun to watch. Tim, I will be watching, and it's too early in the morning for me to drink, but maybe you will make me drink on this one. So we'll have some special giveaways for that. Yes, 9 a.m. It'll probably run till about 2 p.m. And this is EDT, so about a 5-hour game. Yep, be a fun one. Sunday evening. I've been all over the place of what I'm going to do Sunday night because I was going to have a special guest and then they couldn't make it. So what we're going to do is the following. It's going to be an open question discussion in the middle of everything going on. You can ask us anything because maybe it'll give us some ideas for our Legends and Lore. But Anna's going to be at Josh's house, so they're going to be on, and I'm going to invite in people who are going to GaryCon and what their expectations are from the community. So there you go. So I'll be reaching out to some of you to hop on. Kafir said he'll come on. We'll reach out to a couple of you if you want to come on and talk about what you're expecting there. Yeah, Rob, you and Kayla are welcome to come on. Absolutely. And just chat up what's going to happen there. And we'll just see. And then we'll have some general Q&A too. We'll have a fun show that night. And that'll be the GaryCon 14 preview Sunday evening, 7 o'clock. All right. And that'll probably be my last stream because I don't think I'm going to be able to stream the content from there live. But just note, once again, I linked these earlier. We have the following events. And we'll talk a little bit more about this on Sunday. But first things first. Oh, and one last thing. April 9th, the Slav Squad returns. All right. And we got Mandy, Bones. They're all verified. Darling, MJ, Myriad, and Josh Zarathon with special guest Robert Hartley, GM, playing in the game. So that'll be a huge Saturday night special in a couple weeks. So note that'll be a real blast of a game. All right. So at GaryCon on Thursday is our Legends and Lore. What's going on at GaryCon and Greyhawk at GaryCon 14. We're in some shitty room because it got moved because the room's messed up or something. Well, we're going to do my best. Okay. Just note, but it's, 3 p.m. Central, which is 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 hours long. If I can stream it, I will. I don't know. I may do a test stream Wednesday night, get my equipment up, set it up in a room, and whoever's around just interview people as they go by. I may try that. I'd be the man on just to see if it works. Slav Squad's always a good time, Ron. It's fun. We're gonna try, and then Friday we have also our fantasy mapping show. And where is that? Here we go. And that is myself, Anna, Alyssa, and Kafir, Cave Geek Art, because he's done the map. I'm going to show the map Sunday night.
It looks awesome. I've
Yeah.
seen pictures of it, and it
Rob,
looks
you are a lucky
fantastic.
person. It is awesome. Remember, you'll be able
Yep.
to get prints of it. And there'll be three prints going out. Yeah, awesome.
I'm
She
so
squatted.
glad that I get a chance to see it before it gets handed
Yes,
over to the
absolutely.
final owner, so to speak. So, yeah.
Also, Anna has invited Darlene to attend this, but she hasn't.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, she hasn't responded. I invited her to, because she will be at the convention. So I invited her to participate. I haven't heard back from her yet, so we'll see.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. And note that I'm only DMing once, and that's Thursday morning, but I'm playing in 4 games, and we'll talk more about that on Sunday. I already shipped my terrain to Josh, so Anna, make sure that box gets Josh doesn't forget it. So that would be awful. So you need. Well, I have some ideas. I got to figure out if it will work first, Rick, because I just don't know. I'm gonna test it. Wednesday night. There's not gonna be a lot of people there. I may just sit down somewhere in a hallway as people are walking by, and hey, some big name walks by, say, hey, you want to talk a little bit? Yeah, I'll be that guy. We'll see if it works. All right. So last call. We're going to do two choice giveaways. All right. You get your choice. First person. Adventure begins. Ghost Tower. We got the Book of Taverns from Necromancer Games, or this real cool one, Temple Tower and Tomb. All right.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Here we go.
Who is that from? The last one.
This is made by, who did this? Steve Winter.
Oh, who published it? What is it? TSR?
Yeah, second edition. It's a rare one.
Oh, cool. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Steve Winter did it. Yep.
Oh, wow. Temple, Tower, and Tomb. Awesome. Yep. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So, here we go. Everyone ready? We're going to close this out. And we'll raid into Chuck Controller games. Just because he's on, and I'll give Chuck a nice little boost there. So, closing this out. We'll see you tomorrow night for a fun game. It's going to be a lot of combat.
Cool. Yeah.
The winner, first winner, Fulton Knight. Congrats.
That's perfect for this show.
Yeah.
Fulton Knight.
It is.
That's a perfect winner for this show.
Fulton Knight is on.
And Knight wins. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fulton Knight. Which one do you want, Fulton Knight? You tell me out of the 4. Okay. And do I have your address? I probably do. Second winner. You'll take the Ghost Tower. Awesome. Nice again. And he knows I'm not shipping these over to him. I will work again something out with Naz. So there you go. I'm not shipping it to England. So, but I got you. All right. Good. Congrats, Tim. I will get you something in lieu of. We will work that out, of course. Join winning is not evil. Absolutely. So thank you all for a great show. Anna, Mike, what another. We're just going to keep things rolling here, everyone.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Yeah, it was
fun
to make.
Nice.
I'll say this. We'll say this again on Sunday. We're going. A lot of the reasons I'm going, I know Anna's going, is to network with getting more people on our shows.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's a lot of the point of doing this. So let's hope that we are capable of doing that, and and moving forward from there. All right. Well, I'm gonna call it an evening. Mike, Anna, thank you. Let's
Yeah.
We'll see you all. See you all tomorrow night. Yes, nuts it up. What can go wrong at GaryCon, of course, Pain. All right, there we go. Creator dashboard. I'm talking to myself. Setting the raid up. Raid. All right, great. 76. That's awesome. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you tomorrow night.
Managed to be 77. Once you got in at the end.
Perfect.
Seems like it takes longer for Twitch to run them up in the beginning.
Yeah, compile them.
But it might be because there's more viewers now. That might be what it takes longer.
End this out here.